Sure.
Are you authorized to work in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been let go from a company other than a layoff?
No.
Okay.
Can you ask that?
Do you have any issues starting 2 weeks following?
Remember around with the Deacon. Windows low in the wintertime. Me and my dog freeze. Motivation if you need it. Like Rowdy Ball hard.
Woo. It's been a while, people. What's going on? Deacon is alive, all right? He hasn't been speaking, but he's been thinking. Came across this YouTuber. His name is Joshua Fluke. I started watching. I came across his channel right before I started my new job in January with Microsoft as a technical recruiter, talent sourcer. I was just searching the internet, just kind of get back into the flow of technology and kind of re-immerse myself. And I stumbled across his page because he does he's a software developer. From time to time likes to do some recruiter specific skits, funny videos, or just kind of talk about the recruiter candidate relationship and those type of exchanges. He actually recorded one of the phone screens or interviews with the recruiter for the sake really to kind of inform other developers on how recruiters are. Some of us suck. Probably a lot of us suck, either because we just have no training really and just get thrown in, or we're shady, or a lot of different things. But I like watching these videos because even though it's kind of cringy for me, because sometimes I might see some things that, man, I've done that in the past, or I need to stop doing that shit. I think it's still good to see, it's a learning point and everything. So I figured, why not do a reaction video to this and kind of critique on both ends. But let's get it.
What's going on, YouTube? Today's video, I got a call from a recruiter when I was at the gym. I didn't know who it was, so I swiped up and they sent me a text, sent me an email, and it was like, hey, I got this great Ruby on Rails position. I think you'd be a great fit. Looked at your resume is awesome.
First thing with recruiters, we always say that shit, and I try not to. Oh, I saw your profile, and I think you'd be a great fit for this great opportunity we have. I mean, you can't know if someone's going to be a great fit unless you actually speak to the person. So I always try my best not to say definitive things like that in my outreach messages, because if you're saying definitive things like that without having that conversation, it's most likely bullshit.
We want you to apply ASAP. And so I came back from the gym and I called him back, and this is that video.
Hello, this is Nick.
Hey, yeah, you called me earlier today. This is Josh. You called me about a Ruby on Rails position in Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. How's your day going so far, Josh?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's how about you?
Awesome. My day's pretty good, man. I'm super happy that it's Friday. Just give me 1 sec to pull up your...
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it can get kind of monotonous, and that, hey, how's your day going type question that's just trying to break the ice and everything. And you gotta be careful as a recruiter. If you ask a personal question like that, asking about someone's day, if you don't continue that and engage a little bit more and then just go right into it, that sounds very disingenuous. Low-key, sometimes I really just talk about very random shit, and then I wonder, man, like, you are vomiting at the mouth. But I don't want to be bored either. I mean, I'm doing this all day, talking to people. Like, I want to have fun within my job. Like, I don't want to be a robot. So,
resume. Are you interested in the position? Is that why you're calling back?
There wasn't a whole lot of detail about it, so I'm just calling to see what the details are.
Well, it is like I said, it's a Ruby on Rails developer position. It's for a company that is product solution or material solution products, and they get eco-friendly materials and build these really spectacular structures and architect design. And they're looking for somebody who's experienced in Ruby and Rails to help them develop their site even further. And yeah, I think I looked at your resume and it looked...
Okay, just by that first little transaction right there, you can tell this recruiter is working for a staffing company. He's not saying the name of the client or the company. he was kind of put on the spot in terms of what the position is. He probably is dealing with a shit ton of recs from a bunch of different clients. So when he asked for the details, he's just pulling shit out of his ass. He himself really doesn't understand the position and the service it's providing for that client that he won't name. And when you don't know what you're essentially selling, it's very hard to sell. So this guy's just hustling. You can kind of see that just through that.
Pretty good if you're interested in the opportunities. If you want to hear some more about it, we can talk.
Real quick. Never
3
mind.
minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second to pull up something and take some notes.
What was the pay range?
Now, as a recruiter, that's a big red flag to me. I don't know if this is how he always conducts conversations with recruiters, but he's coming right off the bat. What's the pay rate? I hate when I get asked straight up front, what's the pay rate? Because now it's like, all right, so that's the only thing that's motivating you. Where I work for Microsoft, our engineering managers, they see right through that shit.
So it's dependent on experience. What is like your bottom line, and what is your like super like high end?
Well, I mean, I don't really know. I was just curious to what they...
Yeah, he's right. He won't tell you the pay range. That's the thing about staffing too. If a client is willing to pay a developer $120,000 a year, and you tell a recruiter up front you're just looking for 80, they're salivating at that point because that's profit for them. And that's commission, bonus, whatever it is. They'll sweeten the pot to make them seem like I'm looking out for you. Be like, oh man, well, you know what? I think I can get you 90, man. I think your resume is nice, your experience is nice. I think I can get you 90, man. I think I could do that for you.
Well, like I said, it's kind of dependent on experience, but the average is like 120-ish, I believe, in that area for a Ruby on Rails developer. So the company is called.
Okay.
Okay. So what are you looking at right now?
Somewhere in the upper 90s.
Okay.
Okay. So.
And what company or what are you doing right now?
Okay. So he didn't go for I want 120. He actually told him his actual range. I respect that. Thank you, Josh. I like that. But see, you could hear when he said 90, because when he was forced into telling him a range and he said 120, you can hear he was sweating. You can hear it in his voice, like, fuck, man, I'm not gonna get any commission off this guy. This guy better be good. Yada yada. Josh said 90 range. You, oh, okay. I can work with that. Oh boy.
What company are you working for?
Oh, it's called... It's not really a Ruby on Rails position, although I teach Ruby on Rails. I just haven't been doing... Yeah, I teach Ruby and Ruby on Rails, but I just haven't done it for a while. I did it at my very, very first job, but I've been teaching it ever since.
Okay. Yeah, so this position is kind of like more of like a higher end experience in Ruby. They're looking for somebody that kind of goes with it like all day, every day. Are you currently like in the market looking for a new job? So.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing there. It's hard sometimes to tell somebody that, hey, look, based on that, you're not a fit. So he's sugarcoating. Lately, I've been sugarcoating less. I think bullshitting, in the end of the day, requires a lot of energy that, I don't know, as you get older and you've been doing this for a little bit longer, you get tired of that shit. But I find that candidates actually value that more. They appreciate that more.
Were you just kind of inquiring about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I'm in the market. I was just kind of seeing what this one, because I haven't done Ruby in so long, I just wanted to check it out and see what it was like. I didn't know it was like super senior.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm a recruiter, so I'm always having new stuff at my desk of all levels and experience. If you want, we can talk for a few minutes and I can keep your resume on file and let you know if something hits my desk.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So
at this point, I think I could tell that he's he could just be continuing the conversation for the profile for the future, just to kind of save face. And I'll say at least he's doing that. Like, let's stay in contact. Like, this is what I could do right now. Let's have a conversation, which I think you'll find Josh, he's a little standoffish here, if I can remember correctly. He kind of makes it hard to have a conversation.
Why are you looking for a new job? Like, what's up?
More responsibility, different stuff.
Right. Okay, so you're looking for something like where you can kind of nurture your skills and start growing as a developer?
Right.
Let's see, what are you looking for?
In my opinion, not a question I would ask this early in the conversation. I want to know about what they're doing now and kind of get into it. Show that I understand a little bit about software, at least to the level that a non-technical person can follow along and reiterate back to the candidate. Just build that credibility and that rapport. I'm not going to ask personal questions like that without doing that. But still, here's where it's kind of, it goes both ways. I don't even know if Josh is actually looking for a job. If someone asks you, why are you looking to leave your current company? More responsibility, different tech stack. Okay. And then what did he ask? Hold on.
You in your next position. Start growing as a developer.
Right.
Yeah, okay, right. So in the world of technology, we are not as smart as you. With a short answer like that, us not being technical people, some of us can't really take those two words and really have anything to come back with, can't build on that. She tried, at least. I applaud the recruiter for that. So you just want to, grow your skills and spread your wings and fly. And right. Okay,
What are you looking to do in your next position?
Language, I'm more of a web developer, right? So I know most of the web development languages. I don't know Java or C or C++ or anything like that. It's not that I'm against it. I'm pretty language agnostic, you could say, but depending on whatever the tech stack is, I'll learn it. It's not a big deal to me. Basically just web dev.
Okay, cool. So you want to focus more on front end stuff?
I'm more of a visual person in general, so that's more fitting most of the time.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. And would you be looking for a full-time hire position or contracting?
Probably full-time. I prefer remote or flexible schedule if possible.
Okay, so I'll definitely take note of that. And so what are you currently coding with? What are your top stacks right now?
Currently, it's C# and JavaScript. It's a .NET stack. It's not my favorite, so I wouldn't say that's my top skills. I'd say my top skills more towards just JavaScript than .NET and C#.
Okay, awesome. And what are you building with those? Or how much of your day are you spending coding with those?
100% of the day is that. Or I do some front end stuff, so there's some Sass, CSS, that kind of stuff in there.
I try my best not to use or ask the typical recruiter, how proficient are you in, this or that? And it's like, if I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how proficient are you in Java? You can tell me a 7 and that won't mean jack shit to me because I can't comprehend an actual skill level on a point scale like that. I don't like asking those linear questions. I really try to dive into not only the project, but I want to understand the company that they work for, what service they're providing. Is it customer facing, or if they're working on an internal tool, because that helps me understand what they might be building actually with their code and what functions that they need to make happen for their stakeholders. If it's going to be like the app for Expedia, if the end user is some dickhead like me, or if you're working on an internal accounting tool, now your end user is going to be the accounting team or some reporting teams, analysis team. Once you get into those things and ask those types of questions, in my opinion, you won't end up needing to even ask, how good are you in this? How much % do you code in this? Because you break down those barriers and show you have that level of understanding, they'll start talking.
Okay.
Majority of the day is spent doing that, though. It's like a sandbox platform for nonprofits.
And so we talked about your reason for leaving. You want to kind of new opportunities to grow and nurture your skills. What are your career goals like in the next like years? What you're looking to do position wise? Are you trying to climb up the ranks? Are you trying to kind of maintain what you're doing?
Climb up the
Give me some like a little information on that.
So I really like kind of like a project management more type positions. I know there are like really senior technical engineers, but I'm more on like more of like the, I guess, project management, kind of like maybe lead dev. I enjoy working with people more than I like coding. I mean, I can code. It's good.
I get the feeling he's probably not even what he's looking for, what Josh is looking for. I wonder if this recruiter even is working on those type of roles. This is where I would like say, hey, Josh, let me just be honest with you, man. It sounds like this is what's important to you, what you're interested in, and I'm not one to try to steer anyone away from that, but unfortunately, what I got for you, I don't think I can help you really. And then from there, I try to figure out who I know that might be able to. So.
But I enjoy working with people and making sure everyone has what they need and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very business-minded.
How many years of experience do you have in coding?
About 3.
Big
And
picture
what are you
stuff.
looking for in a company, like culture-wise, like leadership-wise? You looking for something more like close-knit? Are you trying to work on like a team, or do you want like prefer more solo environment?
Myself, I mean, I'll work with a team or solo. You end up doing both anyways, but I like smaller companies. Larger corporations, you can get lost as an employee number. But I prefer smaller teams, smaller companies, and the culture-wise, like as long as they're flexible, right? Sometimes your brain just doesn't want to code, and you just you just end up sitting there wasting everyone's time. So
I totally understand that. So what would you say is like are some of those things lacking at your current employer?
What does that mean?
Like you don't really feel like you have the room to grow that you're looking for?
as far as like,
I get it.
there's not really a whole lot of room to grow. The tech stack is antiquated. It's a dinosaur. It's not super popular. It's not super in demand. There's a lot of micromanagement going on.
Hold on, let me go this. Sorry.
Room to grow that you're looking for? Are some of those things lacking at your current employer? Like you don't really feel like you have the room to grow that you're looking for?
As far as like, there's not really a whole lot of room to grow. The tech stack is antiquated. It's a dinosaur. It's not super popular. It's not super in demand. There's a lot of micromanagement going on. Things like that.
I get that. Yeah, I definitely see why you want to get out of that.
Yeah.
Anything I was saying before, Josh not really speaking and making it hard for the recruiter, like he's actually opening up here, and my recruiter self is like, I appreciate it. I could see where I can kind of come to a level of understanding, so I could possibly add value to his job search.
Okay, so what would you say is like, do you have any like standout things that you've done, like projects you've completed, maybe hobbies that you're into, or something that you're proud of, or something, anything really that like makes you stand out?
I mean, I teach code, so when I'm not doing the full-time job, I'm teaching code on the side. So I know that might turn some companies off, but I feel like most companies want you to improve yourself. So I think that depending on the company, they see it as a plus. Some companies see it as like, oh, he's not going to be 100% dedicated. But those companies that think that like you can't improve yourself when you're not working for them, like I wouldn't want to work for them anyways. But teaching code probably.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's a pretty cool hobby. I think it's definitely important to teach people that. It's such a huge field right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you been applying anywhere else? Or have you been applying anywhere?
No, I was just kind of at the gym when you called me. I didn't know the number, so I swiped up and I thought it was just like a spam bot or something. And then you sent you sent the email and I was like, oh, okay, let me check this out. So.
Well, thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it.
Sure.
So what are you looking to like make like competition wise? Like what's your bottom line for a position?
He already told you.
Probably 80.
Okay, 80 at the lowest. And then, what would you say is like super stoked to make it like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm making that much money?
It'd be like 120, probably.
Okay, it's a pretty good range.
I mean, it's a huge range, but it's like, it's like, I mean, I'm not so much, I mean, money's nice and all, right? But once you hit the 6-figure bracket, the taxes are the same.
If he's looking for 80, I'm just trying to figure out why even ask the question of what would you be super stoked for? It's like, damn well the next call you have with Josh even if you could pay him 130, you're probably going to tell him, hey, I got a good opportunity here. I know you were looking for 80. So we could do here is probably like 95. Still a pay bump, knowing damn well the client's talking about 140 or some shit. Like, I don't know. That just seemed kind of weird to me.
And you end up getting the take home the same, like 120 and 95,000. The take home difference is like $25. So I mean, maybe on paper it's a nice little bragging right, but
absolutely.
It's not too much of a deal to me.
Okay, cool. So can I just ask you a couple housekeeping questions just to make sure we're all clear?
Sure.
Are you authorized to work in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been let go from a company other than a layoff?
No.
Okay.
Can you ask that?
Do you have any issues starting 2 weeks following an offer?
No.
Okay. And is there anything that would prevent you from passing a drug or physical screening?
No.
Okay. And have you completed
Again,
a
can you
degree?
ask that?
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the degree?
I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. It's from Europe. I'm a U.S. citizen. It was I went to school in Finland. It was
all those questions that he rattled off just now. Kind of have to get those little brass tacks at the end. I try not to just rattle them off like it's a survey. It seems very transactional. I try my best within the conversation to work them in when I can, when it's relevant. And if I do miss any at the end, I preface it with like, hey, I gotta ask some boring questions now. If you're getting into recruiting or if you're already recruiting, sometimes the deal breaker there, or what sets you apart, is the human aspect. Maybe the candidate doesn't necessarily remember all the details of the role that you're working on or that you're recruiting for, but they may just remember your demeanor, or the way you spoke to them, the way you connected with them, or maybe how transparent with them you were. They remember that shit because it's human, it's real, and they say, hey, you know what? Let me call up John Q or whatever, because I trust this person.
a lot. It's like, 30 dates, 30 nights, like that movie, It's like that.
Oh, yeah, holy crap. Yeah, that's awesome. That's probably a really great experience for you.
Yeah, I mean,
to do something like that.
I think when I apply to jobs, people think I need a visa. And I'm like, no, hold on. I don't need sponsorship. I'm a U.S. citizen, so I had to start putting that on my cover letter and resume real big. So I think people started. Yeah. But I mean, in this industry, education is not a huge deal. I mean, it's a nice checkbox, right? You have a CS degree from Harvard or MIT.
It's more about how much you know.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
He is right about that. Like, now, if you don't have any experience and you're looking for a development job and your only education is like a coding camp or something, or a boot camp, it's harder if you have no industry experience to go with that. It's harder to sell that to a hiring manager or client. Same with if you have like a bachelor's degree in like biology or public relations. It's kind of hard. But where he's right, you could have a GED, but if you've been working for 4 years as a full stack developer, front end, whatever, I don't want to say just developing web pages for the mom and pop pizza hub like down the street, that may not cut it. But some mid-sized to big company or something for the past 4 years without a degree, that'll cut it. You're doing the work. It's the proof is in the pudding there.
Josh, I'll keep your resume and like all these notes on hand, and I'm always on the lookout for new positions and stuff that's hitting my desk like all day, every day.
Okay.
So if I find something, I will reach out to you and let you know, and we'll be in touch from there. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Sure, that's all good. If I want to, like, if there's a job offer that comes through this, is it always contract to hire? Is it direct full time? Am I working for cybercoders? Is that a thing? How does that work?
So cybercoders, we're just the recruiters. So you would be wherever we place you, you'd be working full time for them.
Right. So I've seen some recruiters that are like, you work for them for 3 months, and then the job picks if they want to hire you full time. Is that not a thing here?
Contract to hire.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. So what we do is like, I'll send your resume out to a company that's interested, and they like you. We'll set up an interview through me, and then once the interview process is over, it's up to them whether they want to hire you or not. And from that point, they pay us our fee for recruiting, and then from there you work with them, and then we're kind of done with the deal.
Yeah, so I'm pretty open to almost any web dev job, as long as just somewhere in the Salt Lake City Valley area, not like Lehigh or Ogden. Those are kind of like an hour drive for me. So.
But yeah, I'll definitely keep you in mind. Any more questions?
What should I do if another recruiter hits me up? Should I be like, sorry, I'm working with you?
I'm actually, that's a good question. I technically don't specialize in Utah usually. I'm working on kind of a special case. But, so I think.
He's struggling on answering this question without the inner dog-eat-dog nature of especially staffing recruiting coming out. When he says, what should I do if a recruiter from XYZ company reaches out? Tell him to fuck off is what he'd like to say.
If it's in Utah, yeah, you can just tell somebody, go ahead. But I will, or actually, sorry about this. This is the first time that somebody's asking this question.
Yeah, I mean, I know you get paid commission, so I don't want you to get screwed out of that.
No, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you looking out like that. Yeah, if somebody tries to reach out to you for the time being, just maybe for the next week or so, while I'm looking, just tell them no. But I will definitely be in touch with my colleagues who work in Utah and let them know and kind of float your resume to them too. And then we'll go from there.
Okay, will do.
Awesome.
All right, man. Have a good weekend. I asked 2 times, what's their budget? And he asked me, what's your budget? And I said, all right, what's the company's name? And he was hesitant to give me that. So now I can look up the company's name to see if they're hiring and then see if that company has a salary range. And I can see it for myself and apply directly. But normally when they send you an email, like a recruiting email, they don't tell you the company name because they don't want you to look it up and apply directly, because then they miss out on their commission entirely. So they say, hey, we have a great opportunity. And then, that's how it works. He dodged a few questions there, but I'm not trying to be, mean or anything, even though I'm not necessarily, I don't want a Ruby on Rails job, but that's kind of how you got to work with recruiters.
All right, so there you have it. He had no interest in working on Ruby. The recruiter shouldn't have reached out to him if the profile didn't match. He's working on C#, JavaScript, .NET framework. Where does Ruby come in there?
You gotta be a little bit forward. I asked him questions and he was like, I've never been asked that. So you just gotta be a little bit forward. Don't get pushed around. Don't be open to too many opportunities, because then they'll try to stick you to everything. So I said, mainly I'm interested in web dev stuff. I'll learn it, but it depends on the opportunity, flexibility. You gotta be careful, right? Just be careful when you're working with these recruiters.
He's absolutely right. From a candidate's perspective, you do have to be direct. You can't get pushed around. There are some sharks in the water, unfortunately. However, you don't want to be super cold where it's you don't want to turn the recruiter off. You don't want the recruiter to hang up the phone that guy was a fucking prick. Fuck him. You know what I mean? You don't want that either. You still want it to be a pleasant conversation. I wish there were more of these, to be honest. It never hurts to see more of a sample set. You can't go to school to be a recruiter. There's no degree for that. So you don't learn these things until you get thrown into the fire. It is what it is. But yeah, until next time.